To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, there's nobody in the room that's not staff, so we'll not do all the opening stuff. Approval of minutes of June 4th. Do I have a motion? Moved by Doug, seconded by
Adrian.
Adrian. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? No abstentions. Let's see, legal notices, order of business. Let's go right to public meeting action items. Number 1, PB 2025-0601, Gerlach. Determination of the application is complete. Staff, we're good? Complete? Anybody on the board have any questions?
I might add that the next one is also complete. If you wanted to block them and just.
Yeah, we'll do this one quick. Motion to waive the reading and approve the resolution 0601 as presented. Motion by Tim, seconded by Regina. Clerk, take a roll call vote.
Lucia.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
D'Souza. Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, 0602, another determination of completeness. We're good with that. Anybody have any questions? To have a motion to waive the reading and approve that resolution as presented. Moved by Regina, seconded by
Adrian.
Adrian. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Lucia.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
D'Souza. Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
That just came online too,
who did?
the one you just approved.
Okay, you've been approved. Online. You just got approved. so-
Okay, thank you very
Very-
much. Sorry.
That's okay. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, we've got a 90-day request for extension for Matisse. Ron, quick overview of why?
Yeah, you approved the subdivision. The subdivision approval was based upon Matisse getting a special use permit as the landowner for the property.
Yep.
And the site plan was reintroduced because that's a condition of special use permit. The only change to that original site plan is the town highway superintendent wants that apron paved.
Yep.
He went to A&G Paving. He was at the time number 50 on their list. So he needs the additional time to be extended to get the paving done.
Perfect. Tim, you're online. I think we're good to go. Anybody else have anything? About the board have anything?
No.
I have a motion to waive the reading and approve this 90-day extension for Tim Matisse.
Was Tim online?
Yeah, he just popped up.
Does he have any questions?
Tim, you got any questions?
No, thank you very much.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve that resolution?
Motion by Tim.
Motion by Tim, seconded by Doug. All in favor? Oh, let's see. I'm sorry. Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Lucia.
Aye.
David.
Aye.
D'Souza. Adrian Bellis.
Aye.
And him.
Aye. Okay, Tim, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, next one up is a 90-day extension for the Sky Solar 408-24, 409-24. On, quick on that one?
Yeah, Frank asked me to speak on this tonight.
Okay,
He had a conflict that came up. Basically, they've got a new engineer.
new engineer, right?
The new engineer has looked at the design of the road and needs to amend that in order for the town to accept it. So he needs additional time to do that. And they expect to have this done well in advance of the 90 days, but
Good.
you're good to go.
Okay, any other staff? Anybody on the board?
I have a couple of things regarding.
Go ahead.
Just because I know it's going to expire in July after our next meeting, but the last few PRC meetings and minutes, they've been working with town staff on wrapping this up. And it sounded like they were very close. So why did it shift all of a sudden at the end here? Like, Because a land swap did what happened to it, or it said it did.
Yeah, because of the redesign, there's a slight adjustment to the lot line adjustment map that has to be re-signed and refiled. And there's also final conditions of approval that was on the preliminary site plans that they need to comply with. Apparently, the new engineer found things that should have been caught before and weren't.
Okay? Anybody else have a question? Motion to waive the reading and approve this 90-day extension for the solar farm. Moved by Doug, seconded by.
Regina.
Regina, any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Jim DeLucia.
Aye.
Doug Beats.
Aye.
Regina D'Souza. Adrian Velez.
Aye.
And Henry.
Aye. Okay, Ron, you're up.
Okay, first thing I want to do is go over a summary of what chapter 144 contains. The subdivision regulations were last adopted in October of 2021, or 2001, excuse me. Since then, there's been a number of amendments made to Article 16 of New York State Town Law, the state's environmental conservation law, Chapter 165 of the Town Code, in particular the MTOD, the MSOD regulations, the town's comprehensive plans, both the 2023 and 2021 editions, and the town's site design and development criteria manual. All of these amendments are now incorporated in the preliminary draft that you have to review. More important amendments distinguish the difference between what a land subdivision is and site plan approvals for getting building permits. And there's also numerous references throughout the document to the town site design and development criteria manuals. Some of these amendments have already been implemented, such as the planning board making findings and the determination to schedule the meetings or the public hearings on applications, which you're now doing. The other thing is amendments incorporating cluster subdivision regulations, which include now protection of, to the extent practical, of the class 1 through 4 soils for agricultural production, and definitions of new and old terms that I want to just stop here and say, Dan and I have gone through this draft. We think it's ready for you guys to take a look at it.
Good.
So have at it. Now, to be part of chapter 144 is the clarification of the process for notifying the clerk of adjacent municipalities as required under 239 NN of the general municipal law, or scheduling the public hearing or public meetings within actions within 500 feet of the municipal boundaries. Sureties are now defined to include a maximum 3-year period in accordance with New York State town law. The date of receipt of a complete application is now defined. Before it was this arbitrary, when is that date? Deadlines are now including the planning board to act upon a complete application, thereby avoiding further default provisions of town law that have been incorporated since 2001. Stormwater regulations are now included in these and references to them in the amendments. Preservation of natural features has been expanded and defined. We've included sidewalks within the MTOD and MSOD. Water supply references to the most recent rules and regulations of the Canandaigua Farmington Consolidated Water District and the Monroe County Water Authority. Previously, there was no definition of those two districts. New procedures are proposing easements on subdivision and site plan drawings, and then amending those drawings before C of Os or CFCs are issued. Tightening up, getting those easements. I mean, just corrected references to, section 278. Previously it was 281 of town law. Waivers are further identified and explain how the planning board can grant them. And then further clarification of re-subdivision and lot line adjustments. So those are the major elements that are in the 40-some pages of text amendment.
Perfect. We'll all read that and when we need to go to sleep tonight.
Well, if you don't have a CPAC, just inhale this and go right through.
We would definitely
Okay.
like your comments because,
Yeah.
as you can see, we're on, I think, draft 3. Ron spent a lot of time on that.
You know you guys do.
So he's spent, but he's done a lot of research too and, a driving force behind it. So, but we also want this board's input because, I mean, this affects you guys.
It certainly does.
Can I ask a couple questions now?
Sure.
Why is there a definition for conservation subdivision and cluster development? They like one and the same.
Have the same terminology. People refer to it as a cluster subdivision. Others are referred to as conservation. The meanings are basically the same.
So sometimes we have to do that, especially if they're used in the code someplace. So we have to define both of them, even if they're going to be interchangeable.
And in my understanding is a cluster development would be one that allows for smaller lots if other land is preserved, correct?
And the overall density hasn't changed.
So, for instance, if it was a 10-acre lot, we're gonna say 5 acres. You couldn't cluster more than what could be on a 10.
Right.
Something that's coming, and I think you guys have seen it a little bit, is what we're working with the agricultural group with, for the A80 district of allowing clustering to save our prime soils. Yeah, so, I think it's important to have it in this chapter, but I think you're gonna see more of that if that provisions go forward. And that's what we're hoping, so that we can save our 1 through 4 soils.
And then there was, on page 2, 144-2B. I didn't understand this. Any change to a plat recorded in the office of the Ontario County Clerk that involves more than a lot line adjustment. What does that mean? The lot line adjustment is a big deal.
Well, no, that means basically, if you're going to go into a filed subdivision that's in the county clerk's office and create additional lots because something has changed, maybe the land has been rezoned and now it can accommodate a greater density than what was at the time of approval. Okay, whereas a lot line doesn't do that. A lot line, you're just shifting, you're not creating more lots. Yeah.
And you have to remember,
Usually it's just got me sign a lot more.
yes, lot lines are done administratively, so the staff reviews them. And then we give them to the chairperson for his review and signature, and that's all, that never comes to you guys. So anytime we make more lots or divide a big lot into small lots, it has to come to you guys.
Anybody else have anything? Not yet, we will.
One of the other things that I'm drafting is a local law on backyard burials.
Backyard what?
Burials.
Yep. Good idea.
No, for humans.
Humans.
We have a resident that wants to bury himself on his property that he's lived on all his life. And the Association of Towns has provided me with a lot of input. Some of the things that you need to think about, which I didn't even know about, is you bury yourself on your property and you sell it. And then I sell it to Doug. And Doug wants me the hell out of there. Well, where do I go? Okay, I go to a public cemetery. That's the only place I can go. So the town incurs the cost for exhuming the body and moving me over to the cemetery. There's also a cost of maintaining that burial ground. Some communities have, even gone to the route of requiring a performance or a maintenance bond for the cemetery to keep it mowed so many times a year, which has to be maintained. I mean, there's a whole litany of things, not to mention the issues of what it means to transferring title of that property if there's a private burial grounds there. You need to know where it is. You need to know who's there. And God forbid you have more than one person there, because then it becomes a private second cemetery. And when it's abandoned, guess who gets it? The taxpayers of the town. So there's a lot of things there that people kind of look at and say, no big deal, but when you stop and think, there's some ramifications there that are involved. The other thing is, since we last met, the town board did have a presentation by Cook on the property over there at 41 and 332. A couple of things came out of that. Was the town board asked for some redesign of the site to create a 5th lot along 332 for commercial, and to move the senior housing back away from 332. And then they also asked about how the access was going to be for the second floor townhouse units. And they were told that it's going to be through the garage. Whoa. So these are some of the things that I'm waiting for the minutes to
Can't
be.
wait to see that. Somebody's coming in, just a second, let me open my garage. See you come in.
Exactly.
Doesn't make any sense. I'm wondering from a safety standpoint, if that is even something that fire marshal would allow. Because,
If the garage catches on fire, how do you get it?
well, that plus what if the power's out and they can't, whoever's trying to get out can't pull up the garage door.
Unless it
Open a regular doors.
there might be a man door there though.
Side.
We
might-
don't, there's a
don't
lot of
know.
things we don't know.
You didn't get that.
Did they ever say that where the buildings were, where there was some in Victor? He was gonna look, but I don't know if he ever signed to you, Ron.
I never got
He
any.
kept rambling off
Yeah.
Monroe County that.
Yeah,
so-
yeah, I-
Said, is there anything local? And he said, well, maybe Victor, but he was gonna check.
Yeah, town board wasn't overly, well,
I wasn't.
at least a few members on the town board weren't overly impressed with the density with the apartment. Well, them call them apartments, town, sorry. And parking is atrocious. You think I've complained in the past about parking? They're putting parking in front of single family homes or blocking it out for other people to park.
within the right of way.
I still don't. I wouldn't want people parking on my front yard, like.
Well, Tim.
Tim's gonna plow them all in anyway.
Yeah,
so, well,
without-
so. And he's gonna hear about that, so.
Yeah, and then the other thing was the villager came back to the town board and asked to have the hours of operation extended so they could work nighttime
Yeah, I didn't tell you guys
on
that.
the throughway. And that didn't go very far.
I haven't heard yet. How did this town board react? I mean,
They sent a letter.
They sent a letter saying,
did they?
no, it's not gonna happen.
Basically, Ed and I both spoke up for that too much probably, but
I was not silent on that,
I
man.
tried to discuss it here with them.
Yeah. So that's it for me.
Oh, bitch.
For sure. Anything else, Ron?
No.
Okay, Dan.
We're still pushing forward with the new software. I have sent an invitation to Ed, as of
Done, I
today.
did log in.
Yep, so, We're gonna phase this. Ed's gonna be able to test some stuff internally, but the rest of you will start seeing emails come to you and it will be like a attachment file that you can look at. But you won't be able to put your comments or questions or anything through the system yet until I test with Ed about how that's gonna work. We're still working through some kinks, but, we are live for permits. We're live for complaints, and we're actually live for taking applications for ZBA and planning board, and we've actually got a few applications that have come through for the ZBA. So we're trying it out to see what works, what doesn't. We know there has to be some changes, but it's, like I said, it's a process.
Well,
That's all I got.
just remember, just because we've always done it one way doesn't mean you still have to do it that. Sometimes you can change the process a little bit and
Right.
use the software and not have to pay a fortune to have it adjusted. Anything else?
I'm good.
Him?
Got Allen Padgham Road paved.
Nice.
That's done. Got our chip sealing done today. Well, that's all good. I did have a discussion with Cameron from National Fuel this afternoon.
Oh, yeah, he's got all that stuff for the parcel over here ready to go?
So he got new plans. Did you guys?
No, I haven't got new plans.
Okay. Yeah. He got new plans that they're showing him about his anode field, and they want him just to put conduit and run it over, but he's like, I can't do that. I mean, that's cattails and everything else in there. I'd have to go through DEC, and
Yeah.
so I didn't know if you guys heard anything. I said, I haven't seen anything
I haven't heard anything for sure.
lately.
Ron?
He said the magic word DEC.
Yep,
Okay. Victor Farmington Ambulance,
yes,
the contractor doing the building renovations.
yep.
Noticed these cattails along this drainage on the south side of the property. And he brought it to their attention. They went to BME looked at it. And they now have been hired by the ambulance corps to do a wetlands delineation, determination. It stopped everything.
Oh, damn cattail.
Yeah, and now they're looking at continuing work on the building, but as far as the site plan goes, everything is on hold until the DEC comes back to them. And they've reached out to us to try to see if we can expedite that in any way.
It'll be interesting to see the new plans across the street here, but still very concerned about the leach fields or whatever they're gonna do, the septic systems.
So they're still, I'm assuming, dealing with DEC themselves.
Correct.
And they still gotta deal with DEC.
Yeah,
They still gotta figure out, of course, again, I know National Fuel Gas wants to pay no money to relocate or. run
Oh, no,
conduit
he
or
says no
something like
matter
that.
what, he'll say.
They're paying.
They're paying for it, absolutely.
Question is.
They're
can
not
they-
paying for it.
And they put that into the cost of everything. So that'll be interesting.
we have not heard, I have not heard anything from Fish on the solar farm. No, we've not,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
One thing there, we gotta make sure we let him know, since this is another lease, just like our first solar farm, that he will be responsible for everything. That includes taxes, that includes decommissioning, whatever he get them to pay is great, but he's still responsible. It's kind of like Matisse.
Yeah,
Matisse owns the friggin' land. Wants that asphalt apron in there, he's gonna have to take care of it. Now, if he can get his leasee to pay for it, that's one thing. If not, he's gotta take care of his friggin' land.
Yep.
Anything else, Tim?
Well, I had a thought and I lost it.
All right, maybe you remember. Board, anything? Tim, Doug, Adrian? I know Adrian got
I got a couple.
Okay, go ahead.
It would be a quick meeting, so I had a couple.
Okay,
The storage flex space down there and park and ride or whatever, is that being worked on little by little? I know we had.
They had a meeting with staff and the chairman.
Mhm.
And we came to an agreement, they had 90 days to fix everything, and the town was doing an inspection at that point. 90 days takes them into July. To get the uses that shouldn't be there out of there.
he's back to advertising on Facebook,
He-
it's not today.
He is, and actually, he's talking to his people that are renting from him and saying, oh, I've talked to the town, everything's better, and they've called me, and I'm like, he has not talked to us, not everything's better, and
There's like 3 or 4 of them or whatever, I remember.
Yeah.
There's like a number of them.
yeah, so a couple of them I already know have other places they are moving, and they are moving this month. But there's a few of them that haven't found a new spot, and now they're like, oh, well, things are better. And then they talked to me. Actually, I got phone calls today about it. And it's not. So they're,
Or like July, August time frame a little bit.
well,
Or an update maybe, like-
yeah, I would say that I could update this board probably end of July. By the time we actually go in there and we're gonna have,
August meeting, because it'll be having 6.
probably, I mean, it's gonna be close. But yeah, I'll give an update when I. So, but that was the agreement that originally we had talked about 60 days, and he said that he needed at least 90 to be able to give his people time to find other places.
I get that, that's respect.
And everybody in the room seemed to be agreeable to that, so that was the agreement. But it was also the agreement at that 90 days, the town was coming in and doing a full inspection of every single unit. And every tenant had to be there so that we could talk to the tenants and not just the landowner.
The other one I had is Country Max. So that one, the reason I'm asking it is because the last 3 months on PRC, and Ron's been asking about the light poles.
Yep.
Everybody's supposed to follow up or something, but that's the comment that somebody's following up every month and there's no
So,
response on why we have no light poles or what's going on.
yeah, so they have switched electricians. That was the first issue. And now they have a new electrician in there, and it's just a workload issue. I mean, they just haven't got to them.
They have them, or
From my understanding, the electrician has all the supplies. It's just they haven't got to that job on the job list yet.
and then the extension on the temporary C of O going till the end of year, or whatever, possibly. I mean, that's okay with that
Yeah.
type of structure and everything going on with over there.
Yeah, because the fire marshal's been in there multiple times inspecting the areas that they are working in. The areas that they are working in are fully sprinklered. All the safety features are in. And then,
Working,
yes.
whatever they.
And they are only going to be there during daylight hours because of their light pole issues. Which again, during the summertime isn't a big deal because it's light early and light dark, later. But obviously, we're going to keep a close monitoring of that as we get into the fall if their light poles aren't in. But I would,
Everything they keep saying is August.
I-
Realistically, maybe
I foresee,
closer by August.
yeah, I really don't see this going into fall, but they've ran into a lot of issues with contractors and had to switch contractors and then getting a new contractor in there. I mean, you fall into their workload and this is their busy season, so. All that's being run out of there right now, though, is their online sales. Their management team and all that hasn't moved in, right. Yep, so it's just a small area of that big building that's dedicated to online sales.
Anything else?
Nope.
Gina? Just one comment. I did hear from Mike Crosber at Crosber Brothers today. They have a plan for, I got the impression, a new building and a new look. And that it is going to be impressive for the streetscape in that end of the town. So, got a feeling that means no pool out front Or chain link fence.
So, they have reached out to me to get copies of our street, scape,
Mhm.
and they've read it and they're very impressed with the document. And they want to take it from what's in there to the next level,
Cool.
is what they've told me. So
Are they talking about a full tear down and rebuild or?
they're mixed on that. They don't know, they definitely want a whole new look. But that is the building that they started out of, so it does have some
Right.
meaning to them. And they've seen some other shops across the country that have kept like the original and then have built their big building around it and have it like a little area that you can go in and see the transformation.
Mhm.
They sort of like that idea. But they also are limited on how much space and they want a big store. They want a big store, they want to be impressive, they want to be, a destination spot for pools,
And spas now.
spas, yes. So,
Saunas,
yeah,
yeah.
so they definitely, I've talked to both brothers multiple times about this and, they're taking their time to do it right. They've gone and looked at multiple stores across the country and they've taken back everything that they like. And they've given them, I believe, to Mark's Engineering, maybe? As I heard him talk, it's a local engineering group.
Mhm.
I want to say it's Mark's, but don't quote me on that. And, yeah,
Good, cool.
Builders will.
the builder's local too. The other thing that they've been trying to get is that corner. They would really like
Right.
that little corner, and I think if they could get that corner, then they would pull the trigger immediately, but trying to figure out,
Fortune for it, right?
he wants a fortune for it.
The difficulty with that corner is he's not gonna get
No
in
access.
from Hook Road.
Right. Okay, anybody have anything else? Motion to adjourn by Regina, seconded by Doug. Any other comments? All in favor, signify by saying aye. We still got out in 30 minutes. That wasn't too bad with Ron doing his thing there.
Hey,